In this video, I'm going to go over applications with sig figs, so multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. If you need help counting, that's in a different video, so you can go ahead and take a look at that video instead. So for this one, you'll see that I already did the calculator answer for us, so all we need to concentrate is on rounding that calculator answer based on our sig fig rules. So for this one, we're doing addition. So remember, for addition, you're counting decimal places. And when I say we're counting decimal places, I mean we're counting any number after the decimal point. And this 0 right here, it does count because it's a 0 that's after the decimal point. So here we have 3 decimal places. Here we have 1, 2, and 1. So then you go and you find your lowest number. So here it is 1. We have 1 twice, but that doesn't matter. It's still 1. You don't need to do any sort of subtracting or anything like that. You just look for the lowest number of decimal places. So then we go to our answer. And for addition and subtraction, you just keep whatever's before the decimal point no matter what. So we have 26. And now we're going to round to get 1 decimal place. So here we're going to round to 3. And the reason it became a 3 is because you looked at the number next to it. And since it's high, 5 or higher, we round that up to 3. So this is going to be our final answer. And if you want to check your work, you just look at what number you wanted. You wanted 1 decimal place. And look, here you have 1 decimal place. This one right here is multiplication. So for multiplication, you're counting sig figs, okay, not decimal places. So for sig figs, we look at the whole original value, including the stuff before the decimal point, and you figure out how many sig figs this value has. They're all non-zero numbers, so that's nice and easy. We have 3 sig figs. And then here you have 2. So again, you look for the lower number. So we're going to pick 2, okay? You don't subtract them. You want 2 sig figs. And so we go to our answer and we start at the very beginning and we underline them until we get to 2 sig figs. So 3 is obviously significant because it's a non-zero. And then we need to talk about this 0. It is significant for 2 reasons. It is a sandwich 0 in this number. But even if it wasn't, it's after a non-zero and there's a decimal point in the number. So if you rewrite it to just those 2 sig figs, or those 2 numbers, they're still both significant. This is significant, and this one is because it's after a decimal point and a non-zero. So this will be your answer. And again, you can check your work just by seeing this one is significant. And so is this one. So we have 2, and we wanted 2. For this one right here, we have subtraction. So we're going back to counting decimal places. Addition and subtraction, you count decimal places. So just the numbers after the decimal point. So here we have 4. And here we have 1. So in our answer, we're going to keep everything before the decimal point, and then just 1 space after, because we just want to pick the lowest 1 decimal place, so we keep 1 decimal place. Here we have division, so we're going to count significant figures. For multiplication and division, you count sig figs. So in this original value, we have 2 non-zeros, and we have a sandwich 0, so that's going to be 3 sig figs. We also have 3 sig figs here. So if they're both 3, then obviously you want 3 in your answer because you pick the lowest, but they're both the same. So we start at the beginning and underline sig figs until we get to 3 of them. So this one is going to be 2.73. Remember, we round up because the number next to that number is a 6. Here we have multiplication. So for multiplication, we count sig figs. So we're going to count 5 sig figs here. There are 4 non-zeros. This is a 3 non-zeros, excuse me. This is a sandwich zero, so we have 4 here. So in our answer, we're going to start at the beginning, underline our significant figures until we get to 4, because you want to pick the lowest of those numbers. So this is your rounded answer for sig figs. For our last one, we have subtraction. So we're going to count decimal places. So here we have 3 decimal places. And here we have 1. So for our answer, you're going to want 1 decimal place. So we keep the 0 before, and then we round to keep that 1 decimal place. Because the number next to it is a 6, it rounds up to a 5. And that is our final answer.